So the first thing I want to ask is, what did you all think? I know yesterday's content was rushed, but what did you think about the field trip we went on to River Glen? Why was it great? Tell me why it was great.
Just how everything was set up and stuff, and it kind of gives you a perspective of how you should go in and maybe handle that, an open house.
Yeah.
Everything, so.
Did you find some commonalities between what Andrew or Jeff or even Noah was saying and what we've been learning about?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it really reinforced what you have been saying this whole time.
Yeah. Well, not just me, but the higher ups that came up with this content, right? So what's neat though, is maybe you heard a couple different perspectives, right? The way, I think, I forget who asked me like my take on sign-in sheets and my take on how I communicate. That's up to me to decide what works best for me, right? What's my voice in all this? Where's my DNA? Whereas Andrew is like, nope, you're gonna sign in, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do this, which is great because it really works for them. Also, if we're talking about these allied resources, these vendor partners, strategic alliance people, you gotta think, when I'm looking to do business with a partner like this, I wanna go find those people who pour back into me, right? So the vendors that show up for sales meeting, they pay to be a part of that program, to be able to just interact with you and provide guidance, okay? So think about that when you're looking for vendors, who shows up for you over and over again, right? Who's offering that extra level of training or help or aid that the guy down the street's not doing, right? I'd rather give my business to somebody who's working to help grow me as a professional, okay? Any other thoughts on that open house training? I heard a couple voices, but I went right to you, so. No?
It was good just to interact with them.
Cool house too.
Yeah, when he said this is my personal house, I was like, yeah, right. But it was.
It was his personal house. Very cool place. And now if you have not been in Millwood, you know a little more about Millwood, right? Couple of things that you need to know when you're taking a listing or doing an open house is there are rules per subdivision, right? Every subdivision, every city, every town, everybody's got their own set of rules, okay? Like I mentioned, the peddler's license in Nixa. I mentioned the, like in what is that, Millwood, they're only allowed one directional sign, right? So there are some restrictions. So if you're going to be listing in a high-end area, know what's going on in that community. Know if they don't allow certain things. Don't come to me and be like, Shanna, 8 of my signs are missing now. Okay, well, did you call the subdivision? Did you get with the listing agent? Did you find out what was acceptable and what wasn't? There are some communities like, it's in Nixa. It's not Kilby Creek. It is Wicklow. Thank you. In Wicklow, have you all driven past Wicklow and they've got that little tower that's got the ivy around it? That's where all the signs live that they pick up. They throw them in that little tower. They're locked away in the dungeon. So if you're ever missing any, go check out that little dungeon at the front of Wicklow. That's where they are. But let's go ahead and jump in. All right. So.
If you ever want signs and
If you ever want signs, you go shopping. Just kidding. All right. Susan, will you read this for me? We'd like to start with a quote, right? Get our mind right.
It takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it.
10,000 hours, right? To get to a mastery level. So when y'all are like, I don't need to practice my conversations, I'm going to wing it. I know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, have you had 10,000 hours of communicating with clients? Probably not, right? Open houses, have you done 10,000 hours of open houses? Then you probably haven't mastered it yet. You may be really good at it. You may enjoy it, but you haven't mastered it yet. So I want you to realize that this is not quick fix anything. This is not fast cash, easy money, whatever crazy preconceived notion that might be floating around up there. This ain't it. This is hard work, simple, but very hard work. And it takes a long time to get really great at it. And you will stumble into some really great stuff and you'll feel like, I got this. And then the very next transaction will knock you on your tail end and you'll be thinking everything over again. I've had transactions that I'm like, what? I do not belong in this business. This is not for me, right? And then once you make it through that, you are more elevated. You are more powerful. You understand more. You have been through it. You will learn lessons, especially the ones that are painful, especially the ones that cost you money that you won't make again. right? So I want you to think about that nothing in this business happens fast or overnight. It's time intensive. It is being learning based and it is continuing to go through these things. I just realized how short I was because I was like, oh, hey, can you guys even see me over this? No wonder I move around so much. But I want you to think about that. All right. And this is by no means me saying, Eric, you're not cut out for this because you came in for the fast money. No, what I mean is rethink your goals and your structure and what you're going to double down on. Does that make sense? Okay. So today we're going to talk social media. I don't have anything groundbreaking for you. I'm so sorry. If you tuned in today thinking that I'm going to give you all the tips and tricks to amazing social media, you got the wrong gal up here, but I will give you the foundations. Social media is just another way to communicate. Bless you. Are we professional communicators? Yeah, professional communicators, professional problem solvers, professional relationship builders and growers, right? We're really great friends, okay? So one of the best ways to get in front of more people fast is through social media. I don't care what platform you use. If you're an Instagrammer, if you're an X, if you're a Snapchatter, whatever those platforms are that you feel comfortable in, lean into that one. Don't try to be on all of them, right? Master the one, understand one, and then decide if you want to move on to the next. Also know that when you're talking about these different social media platforms, there's different people on these platforms, different mentalities, mindsets, different generations even, right? There was this huge gap for a long time of Facebook, it was kind of like adults, right? Well, first off, Facebook started out as the Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg, and it was all about college people being able to communicate. Super cool. I got to the party late, I'd already graduated. So that's kind of how it started. Right? Its inception. And then it grew into, this is where moms go. This is where moms and grandmas go. They share about their food, they do this or that. And then Instagram came out and it was just simple as pictures. You just threw pictures out there and little captions, not all these like in-depth stories and whatnot. Well, then insert reels and shorts and all that good stuff, right? So these platforms are ever evolving and their audience structure is ever evolving. I don't like Instagram. I'm going to say it. I just don't get it. I have it because my kid was on it, still on it. And I was like, well, I got to see what she's doing, right? Because I'm a responsible parent. I'm going to micromanage her. But I also just needed to know what was that platform. I'm not on the Twitter, the X, the whatever it's called. I was at one time. There may be a profile out there, but I've definitely forgot it. Any MySpacers in here? No? Okay.
Anymore.
I still have a MySpace. I don't know how to access it, but it's still out there. Picture of me and my ex-husband. It's wonderful. I'd like to get rid of that thing. Right? But there's all these different platforms. Figure out who you want to attract and where do they hang out, right? Social media is not going anywhere. It's going to get bigger, faster, stronger. So you better get on board. So if you don't have a social media presence, I highly encourage it. Because what's the percentage of people looking online to find their agents and to find homes? 93.
Oh, sorry.
No. I've thrown a lot of statistics around. 93+% of people find agents online and find their homes online, right? Or at least starts that process through online. Erica, if you're looking for a new car, how do you start your process?
Definitely online. And I wanted to add, every single time that I've sent something to any of my buyers, they found the home that they bought. I didn't send it to them, but I got them, I showed them what we had, but they all found the home that they were like, I really want this, and they bought it.
Yeah.
That happened to me too. I sent probably 15 or 16 homes to the buyer that I'm working with right now. They sent me back the 5 they wanted to look at that they had found online.
Yeah.
And I just told them, I get it. I did the same thing with my realtor. I went through and found the ones I wanted to look at first and then told my realtor, can you get these open for me?
Absolutely. Sometimes they just like, I said, oh yeah, I remember that one. I sent it to you. They're like, oh, you did? Like, they don't know. They're getting sent so many and looking at so many.
So there's 2 ways to love this conversation, first off. So if we can just sidestep into it for a second, you have to remember I used to work as an ISA, which is an inside sales agent. So my job was building the buy side. And it was finding the homes, setting up the agents. And I mean, I did the back. It wasn't just like, hey, Jackson, this is your appointment. Here's their information, go. I handled it until they were ready to write an offer, right? And go view. And it was partners in production. So I spent a ton of time searching homes, looking for homes, aiding buyers in this process. Here's what's interesting. The first few times they found it on their own, I was devastated. I was devastated because I didn't do my job. You found it without me. You don't even need me. I didn't understand my value. I didn't understand all the things that I could do. So I started to switch because I realized even if I sent it to them, they were still looking on their own. So I made it a partnership. Hey, we're in this together. I'm going to find what I can find. And guess what? I also am going to look off market for you. I'm also going to look for sale by owners for you. I'm going to do all these things because I'm not just relying on the multi-list. However, I need your help because your eye for what you want is better than mine. I'm going to give you options. My job isn't to choose the house for you. It's to provide you as many options as possible. So if we're in this together and you enjoy looking online for houses, then by all means, I want you looking too. That gives us permission to come together on it and me not feel a certain way and them not being like, well, my agent didn't even find the house. I had to find the house. Right? And then you line up what happens next. And then I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one that's going to reach out to them. Encourage them to look at for sale by owners, but remind them that you are the one that has the connection with those for sale by owners in town. And that it's your job to negotiate getting in and moving forward. Does that make sense? Okay, great stuff. All right, so the 10-5-1, we're gonna get into their 10-5-1 social media engagement, and then we're gonna talk why I changed it, right? Why I took creative license, like I know what I'm doing up here, right? All right, 10-5-1. Social media is a powerful tool because it is free. Do we like free? Especially when we're in the infancy stages of building a business, we don't have all the money in the world to just dole out all these expenses that come our way, business cards, signage, color printing, I don't know, right? There are expenses out there for you. You can literally take this right here and expand your sphere in 5 seconds. Think about before social media. Where did we meet people, right? The gym, the grocery store, the bar, wherever, okay? You're able to do it from the comfort of your own home, which to me says leveraging technology, right? I can be in a coffee shop waiting for my next appointment and then friending people, which is feeding my database, which is the #1 rule of lead generation is to build it and feed it, right? All right. And then the thing is the 10-5-1 is there so you engage, right? You don't just put it out there and then never look back at it. You've got to engage with the people because that's the point, right? And remember what I said, we don't make comments like, oh, so cute, right? Oh, Jackson, so cute what you did there the other day. No, I'm going to be like, Jackson, that was so cool. Where is that? Where did you find this information on this really cool hike you went on, right? Like, Erica, you do goat yoga? That's wild. Like, tell me more about that, right? So engaging in those things. But if you're a phony baloney, they're going to see right through you. So be authentic. Be where you're supposed to be. Go find those people with those common interests that you have, okay? So this 10-5-1, they say, go like 10 comments. Go like or love or care or whatever, 10 comments. What is my rule for the 10?
Interrupting.
10 interactions, so 10 comments. So instead of liking what somebody else has posted, I'm gonna like it and comment, which is gonna elevate it up just a hair, right? That's me pushing you into a productive atmosphere, right? Because just liking things is passive, but if I like it and then I try to make a connection, now we have something to talk about, right? We're getting there faster. All right. Their version of 5 was 5 comments. What's my version of 5? Direct messages. Why would I make you do direct messages? It is direct and you want a direct result, right?
It incites a response too from them.
Ask a question. Again, don't just comment and like it and then go to their direct message and be like, so cute.
So based on what you had suggested with my likes in business, I haven't been able to reach out to nearly as many people, but I've gotten 3 appointments.
I'm sorry. Say that for the people in the back who can't hear you.
I've reached out to about 15 people and with direct messages and started conversations, and I've gotten 3 appointments. Two business, and then 1 it's to meet them, but again, it's going into my database.
He's
So
feeding his database. He got there 10 times faster. The reason he didn't have to go do as many is because his conversion's higher.
I haven't been able to.
He's like, I can't even get, I mean, like, it just starts, right?
Yeah.
Has anybody else had that kind of success already? Susan, tell me about it.
As I have been reaching out to people with the direct messages, I've just been telling them, hey, we haven't gotten together for a long time, let's meet. And my calendar is really full right now for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun because not all of those people are gonna be a client, buy or sell something with me. But I did have one lady that I connected with yesterday that we're gonna have coffee next week. She said, if anybody asks us about real estate, we're gonna refer them to you. And I didn't even bring it up. I was just saying, hey, I haven't seen you for a long time. We should get together. And that's what I'm leading into. Every time I do a direct message, it is an invitation to have lunch or coffee.
Same thing.
How much do you think that lunch or coffee is costing? Let's say coffee. How much do you think that coffee date's costing you?
It's gonna cost me about $12.
$12. And what's the average commission you'll earn off of a transaction?
Well, what would that be? Like
$7,500, give or take? Is there a return there on that?
Yes.
There is. And it's also a business expense.
Well, and it's doing something extra for me too. It's just broadening my.
Puts you in more
world.
places.
And yeah, it's reconnecting me with people that I haven't.
I've
seen
used
for a
it
long
too
time.
with vendors or potential vendors. So like I had a sit down coffee with it's actually one of Andrew Chavez's companies, but it's his insurance guy, Jared. We sat down yesterday and then, so I'm going and meeting them to actually get them out of the office and sit down and talk for, 30, 45 minutes and get to meet them and get to know their personality too, because if I want to refer them, do I think it'll be a good fit for my customer too? So.
Absolutely. That's a business to business relationship. That is a vendor resource. That's an allied resource. They will not only help your transaction move smoother, they'll do you solids. Like if I know a good roofer and I've got a very tight timeline and I'm like, Susan, we need to get a roofer out there like yesterday because we wasted all of our inspection days, right? I know a guy, he'll get out there, he'll make time for me to get out there that day, which is super important in this business, right? I drew a heart and a dollar sign. When Susan was just talking, she was talking about connecting. She's connecting by heart with people. You guys see that? And it's authentic. If I were to connect heart to heart, caring about Erica and pouring into Erica, and I authentically want to take you to coffee because I want to hear about your life and I want to hear about things, and I'm really busy and I'm taking time out of my day to do that, we are now connected by heart, and it can lead to dollar signs. Right? Because we are not a nonprofit business. We are a for-profit business. And I'm not saying to cloud these two things, but when you do this right, it leads to this. All right. So don't focus on this, focus on this.
That really helped me overcome my reticence to contact people in my social media.
I remember this.
Because I was like, I don't want them to think I just want to make money off of them. So I have really avoided until we sit down and we actually do have coffee and they ask me how things are going, because they all know now that I'm doing real estate. I don't say anything about it. I'm really doing the forward or form those techniques because I think I don't want people to think that I'm just looking at you as a dollar sign.
Yeah. And when you stop focusing so heavy on the end result of what will happen from your activities and you focus on being present and being where you are, it will naturally occur, right? Great points. Forward, for those of you who don't remember, is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So when you are lacking knowing what to say to somebody, hit forward, right? Because people love to talk about themselves. That's their favorite topic because they know everything about it. Eric, if I were to talk to you about police department stuff or crime or something like that, you'd probably get a little jazzed because you're like, I'm the expert on this. I know what I'm talking about, right? You feel confident and you act differently when you're confident, right? Okay, Jackson, if I was to talk to you about high school football, and it was football, right? Memory. If I was to talk to you about that, you could probably give me a lot of insight and you'd probably feel like, oh, I can educate her. I can, right? So finding out the things about them that they're interested in or that they feel like they're the expert on, super cool, right? And then entail when they turn around and want to talk to you, you get to be the expert on something and you get to be excited. But people love to talk about themselves because that is what they know best. It's not because we're selfish. It's just because that's what we know.
I will say too, I've only paid for so far one lunch.
I'd
Because
say I've only paid for one of my own coffees because they were busy with another realtor that I know. when I first walked in, so, yeah.
I tell you
I
what,
haven't really, but I am willing to say, hey, I'm getting this. I took Darmatrone to lunch the other day and I paid for her lunch, but that was like, I'm picking your brain. I
yeah.
want you to tell me everything you can.
And
in
what
the
a
next
great
30
relationship
minutes.
you're building with Dar now,
Yeah.
right? And that's valuable because remember what I said, clients can come and go, but these relationships we have with other agents are really important because typically they're the ones that are sticking around, right? Okay, so speaking of that, I had a recruiting appointment a week ago with a guy out of another town, starts with a C, Clinton. Guy out of Clinton, he's with EXT, he does about 100 deals a year. I said, I would love to buy you coffee and I'd like to learn more about your business. He bought me coffee. So that's pretty cool. It was $5, but still, right? It was one less thing. So if you, certain people will offer to pick it up for you. So you don't always have to go, ooh, I can't afford lunch this week. Go call a lender, call a title company, because don't call the ones you're calling, because I don't know what's wrong with them, but they'll typically want to be all over that. Let me buy you a steak dinner. Let me buy you lunch. Let me, find the George Brockmans in the room who are the home warranty people. These are great resources because not only do you develop relationships and friendships with them, you're practicing what you should be conversing with other people, right? So that's a great practice. And what were you saying? Okay, it's not great, it's great practice, but you never know how that relationship's gonna form and help you in your business too. Okay, so you guys understand why I changed the 10-5?
Mhm.
So far, I think for some of you, it's working. For those of you who it's not working for just yet, give it more time. Give it more time. Instead of doing 10 comments, do 20 comments. Instead of doing 5 direct messages, do 10 direct messages. When your conversions are off, if you're seeing like, well, hey, Ray only did 15 and he got 3 appointments. I've done 25 and I haven't gotten any. Do more or change the tone or change the words. That's where we really start to pull apart the conversion and see where the problem is. All right. Okay. And then the post. Who's struggling with the post? Raise them up high. Yep. Struggling with the post. Don't know what to post about, right?
We're getting a bunch of ads all of a sudden with companies offering packages that, post for you or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's,
We get those all the time the last 3 days or so.
that's your.
That's something you could do. However, that's something I wouldn't do because people want to know who you are, right? Now, it's okay if you have a social media person running your social media or a newsletter person running your newsletters. That's fine. But let's talk about these posts. 5 posts a week. Is that excruciating for some of you? Okay, so this year, I have never been good with social media. I have a lot of baggage with it. I've got a love-hate relationship with it. I didn't grow up with it, so it feels weird to me. And I am very surprisingly resistant to technology and change, right? Which I think is really funny, but that one post today is really hard. So this January, I set it out to try to make a post every single day or a story on my social media every single day. And I'll tell you what, I'm 14 days in and I don't think I've missed anything yet, but I'm getting so much more engagement on social media than I ever have before, right? Now, here's the thing. It's not all about business. Now, I love to celebrate y'all, right? When you guys do something, you can see like Jason Calm did his first listing, or whatever, and Brent Bowers had his first closing of the year. I posted about that because I win through you, right? So when Camilla does something awesome, I'm gonna wanna share that. But people also wanna know who I am. They wanna know about my kids, right? So you'll see a lot about my kids. My daughter made Dean's List. That's pretty fantastic. I'm super proud, right? So if you go through my social media, which I've always told people, don't do it because it's a waste of your time. There's nothing of value in there. You're gonna get a mixture of some video. You're gonna get a mixture of some static posts, some links to click through. You're gonna know that I'm in real estate and you're gonna know I'm a mom, right? And you're gonna know I have dogs and I love my doodles, right? Because people like to interact with people that are like them, right? So if I am a cat lady and I have a bunch of cats, I am going to gravitate and interact with other cat ladies, right? Which, by the way, if you didn't know, cat ladies are now plant ladies. And unfortunately, I am a plant lady. So in case you're curious, but getting into these different groups and figuring out who you are and what you're good at and what you like That's how you start to build your community and you build your perfect avatar. Your avatar is that person who you're trying to connect with. Who is that ideal client for you? Right? Think about that for a second before we move on. Who's your ideal client? Is it a seasoned buyer or seller? Is it a first timer who's never done it before and you get to slow down and walk through it? Is it an investor? Who's your ideal client that you will get the most energy from? And that's who you market to. You pick that person, you assign them a name, you assign them a face, and that is who you think of every single time. Go on ChatGPT, it'll create an avatar for you. You say, this is my ideal client. What do they look like? Tell me their backstory. Who are they, right? And a lot of times when you're looking for who you are and who you're trying to appeal to, who were you? You're best positioned to serve who you once were, right? We've talked about that a little bit. I tell you what, I was a single mom for a long time. I can work single moms like nobody's business because I understand it and I have walked in their shoes, right? So who are you now? Where are you? Who were you then? Start to figure that out. We're going to spend some time on that. I want you to know who you're marketing to. When you market to that person, it all comes together. But when I'm trying to market to the plant lady, the cat lady, the single mom, the construction guy, the brand new grad, if I'm trying to market to all these people, I'm not going to get anywhere. And I'm going to come off inauthentic, right? What are your thoughts?
I have thought about the fact that with my past brokerage and the past teammate that I had, we are both horse girls, grew up riding, it's just kind of like, and it's in our DNA at this point. Like I haven't actively ridden in a while, I went back to riding lessons, but it's something that we know really well. And we thought joining Farm Fest as a vendor would be beneficial, which we got a lot of context. By the way, it's so hard to get rid of a Blackstone grill. Like,
Really?
good God,
Everyone's got
everyone
one.
has one.
Everyone's got
Every
one now.
single
I don't have
person
one.
has 2 or 3. They have so many. So anyway, that, aside from that,
Anything
people are
out of
also
Farm Fest.
super savvy about, signing up and stuff, because that's why we're trying to get a lot of leads. Anyway, we thought it would be really beneficial to join Farm Fest. But what's funny is that while my teammate had sold some equestrian properties here and there, she didn't have a lot of experience with land. You see Tom Kissy out there, you see Whitetail Properties, which my husband tried to get me to join. He worked with a guy that is with Whitetail he totally
He
did.
tried to get me to do something.
Yeah, he totally did. He just wants to join Whitetail. So
I forbid it.
right, yeah, so it was awkward for us because we did some, I've talked about land values, that's where some of that came from, and I kind of understood a little bit about it, but we hadn't invested enough and we weren't even sure who we were marketing to. Are we marketing to the older couple that's got 800 acres, they're never, ever gonna sell, but they might be interested in the land values themselves? Are we marketing to the equestrian properties? Are we marketing to, the hobby farmers? And we kind of settled on some hobby farm, but we didn't exude that. We were kind of a hot mess and all over the place. So we had a good idea, but it wasn't solid.
Mhm.
So that was just a good experience to kind of step into because I'm still interested in that. I still have those contacts, but at the same time, we hadn't dialed it down enough.
Mhm.
And it was a big step that kind of just didn't do much right away.
Mhm.
And it was just an interesting experience overall.
Well, I will commend you though on finding your niche, right? Finding something that you're interested in. And then what you do is you double down on the education behind it. Start to learn those things. Know what the average price per square or per acre is. Know what's important about soil and perk tests and things like that.
Yeah, we were
right?
just like completely
This
didn't even
dirt's
think about it
7
until we
years
met
of
other
good
vendors.
growing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not me. I am city. I don't have any business messing around with that stuff. But if that is where you feel comfortable, lean in and then start to show up, but devise the plan, right? Get the plan and figure out exactly who it is you're trying to appeal to, right? So I'm gonna still commend you on that. And if it's of interest to you, I would learn a little more, right? There's somebody in our coaching team, her name's Jordan. She goes and hangs out at the, help me out. Who is in coaching that remembers? She goes to the
She goes to the horse.
horse auctions.
Horse auctions.
I wonder why the school's calling me. If it's important, somebody will come get me. I hope we have insurance. Anyway, so, yeah, she goes to horse auctions because she is all about that farm life. She grew up in rural America. She worked at, PFI is now Cavaliers. Thank you. See, I don't belong there, right? I wear tennis shoes, I don't wear boots. But I love it. Find out who you are and what you like, and then lean into those communities. Okay? All right, next part is the posting practice. Ooh, posting practice. All right, so think about this. 80-20 rule. It exists in so many things, right? 80% of the youth, or not the youth. Funny. 80% of the money in the world comes from 20% of the people. 80% of your activities are not your 20% dollar producing activity. So 80-20 principle works everywhere. The closet example, I don't wear 80% of what's in my closet, so I need to get rid of it and operate in the 20%. How do we think the 80-20 rule is in the postings?
If you're posting business all the time, people are just gonna stop.
They're just gonna
looking.
tune off.
Yeah.
If it is 100% business all day, every day, people are bored with that. They don't, I get it, Ray, you're in real estate, right? So what should,
So what do you recommend? Use like have a page for your like real estate like profile and stuff, and then have a separate profile?
so there's a lot of different theories on that. There are people who feel like, well, I have already said, if you're gonna do command ads, you gotta have a business page, right? So some people will duplicate posts between their business page and their regular. Sometimes they'll keep their business page totally separate, but let's just say you're operating out of your regular social media account, right? Like I'm not operating out of a business page. I'm operating as mine because I just want to focus on that one thing. I'm not trying to cross-pollinate and saturate all this different stuff, right? So when I'm looking at that, what this means is 80% of it's personal because they want to know about me because they're going to hire me. 20% of it's about real estate. So we don't have to consistently be going, here's the market stats, here's the market stats, here's my next closing, here's this, here's that. I don't want to flood a feed with just real estate, right?
I just wanted to ask you about that because when I first got here, somebody said you need a Facebook that's for business and then in addition to your
personal opinion.
personal one. And so I set up a Facebook for business. And what I'm doing is I'm posting on mine and then I'm copying it over and putting in the other one.
Mhm.
I asked my friends to follow me on the business one. So I'm now kind of in a conundrum because it's just really a pain to post on both of them, first of all, because I can't copy when I can't share what I'm doing.
You
on
can't
my
like do like
personal.
from Facebook to
my-
Instagram, like it's automatic.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. So, I've asked everybody to follow me, which is great.
But you got
But
nothing in
I'm-
there?
I know I've been posting in there,
Okay.
the same thing that I post in my personal one, but it's just like, this is ridiculous. And I'm getting the most feedback from my personal one anyway.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, just close that one down, just.
You can, unless you're gonna use it for command ads. So here's a way, so
That's
first off,
probably the reason that I did it.
yeah,
So what I have been doing, so I still don't have one for specifically for real estate, but I have it for the remodeling company. So what I usually do is I post separately, and then once in a while, if I think there's some value to it, because my business, it's a page, it's not a separate profile. And then I'll pull up my business page and then I'll share it to my personal profile.
Yeah, I did this totally wrong, but I was sitting with somebody.
And I don't know if that's the right thing to do. That's
it's
just,
one way. So
but-
here's
I
the
was
thing.
sitting from somebody from here that walked me through that. It wasn't you, but.
No, it definitely wasn't me.
It was.
Well,
Sorry.
here's the thing. We're going to share best practices, right? This is the voices of many, not just my opinion. I've talked to a lot of marketing people. I've talked to a lot of agents. And the way Ray does it actually works really well, where he keeps most of what's on the business page professional to that business and
yeah,
then
like I take
shares it
pictures
to
of our
his page,
remodels and.
right? So it's just,
progress.
it's a landing page for one other thing,
Yeah.
right? But what it's really good at is leads. So getting leads through like command, a paid ad, because what it does is it doesn't touch your people, not your friends list. It goes outside of that. right? And so it's where people who, maybe you've got some people out there that you don't want to be on your personal page, but you might say, hey, follow this, right? Maybe every Tuesday after team meeting, I post the stats of the market. And every Friday I do a fun open house, a virtual open house. And then on Fridays, I share that to my personal page, right? Like that's a great best practice. So it's a system that you got to create for yourself. That's a really good one. I'd write that one down, friends. Right. But coming up with how you're going to do it. Yeah, you're managing 2 pages, but if I'm 80% in my personal Facebook page, I'm going to use Facebook if that's okay. Can I just utilize that? All right. If I'm going to do 80%, I'm going to talk about my kids. I'm going to talk about my family. I'm going to talk about my interests, things that I like to do, community involvement. If I'm a runner, which sometimes when the weather permits, I am, I'm going to talk about running, right? I might even share my Strava stats. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we can talk later. This is a different topic, but these are things. And then what I can do for that 20% of real estate is I can copy from my business page straight on, share the post, right? That's a really great way to do it. So let's get into some of these interests, if that's all right. Personal interests. What page are we on? If you were to follow through in your book. 8.5. Yeah, 8.5. All right, flip in there. 80% is personal, right? Personal. What is personal? What are you into? What do you do for fun? Jackson, if you don't mind me asking. When you're not doing real estate.
Work out,
You work out.
yeah.
Where do you work out?
CFC in Marshfield.
Oh, you're a CrossFitter.
No.
CFC.
See, it's owned by the same people who
Okay.
do the CrossFit thing, but CFC is a
Sorry for the
separate.
long-
He goes like, no, it's like community fitness. center, I
Oh,
think it
okay.
is.
So you're not doing like high intensity content?
Self-torture. No,
No.
I lift weights and do cardio.
Okay, that's cool. You got like arm day, back day, bis and tris,
Uh,
thighs and quads, things
Yeah.
like that. Okay. Do you ever post about it?
Not about that.
Is it too personal?
I don't know. I mean,
But it's a common interest of yours, right? Like it's something that but could you? And if you were, and I'm not saying he has to, because fitness is personal. It's a personal journey. So I'm not going to say you have to, right? But I might argue that being a spiritual individual who goes to church is also personal for some. I am not a big I am an oversharer. Let's not. I have a problem with oversharing because I trust and love you all. However, there's an appropriate amount of sharing on social media and an inappropriate amount of sharing. Okay, so know the difference, have that emotional IQ on that one. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But what if you were to take some of those interests that you have for working out? Maybe it's a check-in. Maybe it's a picture of a weight. Doesn't have to be you like flexing, one of those.
Especially on Facebook Live, just look.
It's like, oh, look at me, right? But when I was super heavy into fitness, do we think that hit my thread? It did. It did. And do we think that I grew followers, friends, networked with people because they saw that was a common interest? People want to know about you. And if that is something that's important to you, that you actually block time in your schedule to do, which I assume you do, that might be something that you consider. Okay. Ray, what do you do for fun?
that's right.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, why are
I
you
know
not?
what Ray does for fun. Ron, besides going to Disney,
I ride bicycles.
you ride bicycles. Do you ever post about that?
No, but my wife does all the time and she tags me.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. Maybe you could make
I
some of
haven't
those.
posted in probably 4 years.
All right, well, we're gonna get better at that, right?
Literally, I'm trying, I'm working on it.
Working on it. Okay. Do more, try less. Okay. Susan, what do you do for fun?
I'm looking at this list. Outdoor activities, things with my kids, with my daughter and my granddaughter, and then with pets. Those are things
That are important to you that you do in your spare
every
time?
once in a while cooking or baking too. is fun too. Most of the time, I try to post something that I see as funny and then repost. because it's just.
I love a funny real estate meme, but sometimes I'm like, oh, that's inappropriate, not to put that out there. That one's a direct message to somebody else, right?
There was one with a crocodile that was, crocodiles will do different things to lure their prey. And this crocodile looked like it was laying on its back doing jazz hands, and this was, this is how they lure musical theater people.
Oh, spirit fingers.
And I'm like, I am not a musical theater person at all, but I thought that was really funny,
And you shared it.
and I shared it.
And
So
did you get
things
engagement?
like that, yeah, I did get engagement. So things like that I'll do, or if something really funny happened, I try to stay away from anything controversial, negative.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up.
I don't wanna.
You're a business owner. You no longer reserve the right, in my opinion, to have an opinion and vocalize it through that platform. Because you are going to get out of here. You are going to, I'm just kidding.
Can I get ice?
You make it nice. I'll allow it this once. But that's something to consider. Now, if you are very like, I believe this, I'm a this, and I want whatever, you feel so compelled to express that out there like that, more power to you. You may turn people off, and that's on you. So just be mindful, knowing that you're a business owner. Yes, sir.
Should we go back and scrub some questionable things?
Certainly can, but once it's out there forever. Yeah, I never was one to have questionable things out there on social media. It came from a time of the 90s where it was never to be heard of, seen of again.
Disposable
It was
cameras.
disposable cameras, there was no evidence, there was no proof, and I prefer to live that way. But these personal interests, let's think for a second. Ray, what are you passionate about in the community or in your own personal life with your family?
I mean, right now I'm very passionate about serving others in my community, like church and.
Church?
My wife is involved, obviously her profession is elderly, but I am involved with stuff with her. So like we do like the Alzheimer's walk and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you post about it, because I've seen it, because we're friends on Facebook, I've seen it. Do you think you're attracting the right kind of people? Like you're thinking about that?
And I'm also very intentional about that too. I try to be very intentional about posting positive things in my life or positive things because I also want to attract a certain type of person. So,
Right.
yeah.
So like Susan said, she tries to stay away from something super political or something super boisterous or negative because she's trying to attract. The point of the social media is to attract people to you
Yeah.
that are like you, right? Camila, what are you involved in? Do you do any kind of like community outreach, community service? Is there any kind of population of people that you're more concerned with than another?
I don't really do any like community service right now, but I do like get engaged a lot with the customers that come to our restaurants, so.
Right, so, okay,
I
so do you
even,
post about
like-
the restaurant?
I do post a lot about the restaurant and I post about my baby a lot. It's just my baby and the restaurant.
Okay,
pretty
so
much.
let's add some real estate to it a little bit, right? And then figure out what you are into and go throw that out there. Does that make sense? Any questions? Yeah, what restaurant? Wait a minute. And where? Here? That's your family's? Oh, the street tacos are so good. They're my favorite. Best in
What
town.
location?
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we love that place.
and then the other one, La Casita, that we just opened on Ozark.
Okay, I'm into that one. So.
Hey, that
That
one
one
is
is just-
fire at Tacos El Gordo. You're gonna monopolize.
There was?
Yeah, I live right on that corner, so
Oh.
I was like, oh no, it's all smoky inside. Yeah, awful, but you're right next door, so like, you're gonna get all that.
Well,
taco
down the
business
hill, but yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I'll move on. I digress. Yeah, just remember that these things that you're passionate about, other people are passionate about too, right? It's important. It's important to get involved. It's important to be involved. You are a pillar of the community now, right? Okay. Business posts. What are some appropriate business posts? An inspirational post is good, right? Like, did anybody see my story yesterday? Be grateful for the things you have while you work for the things you want.
No, I just saw the one with us at the
I
training.
saw it.
I got more engagement on that post than I have at anything else that I've posted. Which is funny because I very strongly believe you cannot sell real estate through inspirational posts. I can't inspire Eric to get out there just by inspiration. I have to give him the things to go do, right? However, every now and then it fits just right. start to look at the posts that get engagement, right? So is it a link? Is it a video? Is it an inspiration? Is it a market stat? Like, where are you getting your engagement? Is it funny stuff? I had a guy who was like, the only time I get engagement is when I put my dog in the video. I go, saddle up, we're bringing that dog everywhere then, right? So those things are important. Bragging on yourself is important too. It establishes a level of credibility, right? When you win an award, when you had a closing, when you listed a house, when you are hosting an open house, all of these things are still important in our business, right? So those are appropriate. What else? What other business social media posts should be thought of?
Andrew from yesterday, I seen that he posted something, talking about HELOCs and all the different types of financing and things that you can do in the lending. And I reposted that, and it was kind of focused towards investing and stuff.
Figure out who you follow and like and just reshare their stuff too. That's totally acceptable. Now, here's a little hack with the algorithms of social media. You got like big flex over here. You got what, 800 people? 742. All right. So 742 people, but do you see all their posts? No, you probably see what, 20?
And I thought when I started doing more of this, that I would see more of a variety of people, and I'm not. I'm
No, it
still
just kind of
seeing the same
pigeonholes you
people.
into a certain group of people. So you have to break the algorithm. Well, how do you break the algorithm that is ever changing? You got to stay on top of it, which means putting out consistent content over and over and over and through the different mediums. Do not shy away from video. Video sells. People love video. However, they don't like long video. So long video, you know where that belongs? YouTube. Short videos belong on your social media. Little clips, 15 seconds or less, because that's about as much time.
I've got a ton of traction from Reels, so.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times I'll just take a post and I'll just convert it. I mean, it might be a still shot with some music or something like that, but people are doom scrolling.
That's how I trauma bond with people.
Yeah.
No, but think about that, right? So video works. So if I watch a lot of video on social media, what will come to me?
Videos.
Video, more video. If I am a clicker on what is that? Like a link to click through to another article or something, I'm going to get a lot more of that. So you can change your feed based on what you like. Start looking at what other people are liking and then present that kind of content, and then you'll be in their feed. Also, find those people that you're like, I would honestly scrub your list once a month during your lead generation time block. And I would go, who have I not seen or I've not commented with in a while, right? And just take a chunk and find like a couple other people and then go directly to their page and go interact on their page, because social media is looking for a meaningful interaction on social media, right? Social media is not watching for when you meet with them for lunch. Now, social media will listen to what you talked about and then present you with some kind of
Ad.
ad.
Yes, the other
Yeah,
guy was
that's a
talking about like some Gatorade. And
A
I'm like,
gator?
just a Gatorade, a drink.
Oh, Gatorade. I was like, are we back on alligators again?
No,
okay.
and I was talking about it, and I literally just opened my phone and went through Facebook, and a ad came up with all the flavors and all of that, and I was like, this one has to be
Listen.
listened to me.
There's something else out there. You don't even say it, you think it and it shows up. That. I don't
What
know
about,
that one.
like,
That is scary because that
the-
happens all the time.
The first day we were starting to talk about lead generation, I had a million ads about a real estate agent
Mhm.
saying like, I will teach you how to get leads, do not knock on doors, do not send cards, do not do this and that and that, da, da, da. I will sign up right here so you can have all the tricks for lead
the money.
generation.
To go buy the leads. I don't recommend.
Yeah, but that was that day. Obviously, I never talked to anyone like about lead generation that day. We were just here, and then when I left, it came up on my phone, and I was like, this thing has to be listening to.
It is, it's 100% listening to you.
So I think that this is happening and I don't know, I was gonna mention it to you. I got one of those, hey, can you help find a home in Nixa?
Uh-huh.
I said, yeah, because I'm thinking immediately it's like a WhatsApp or something. It says, I don't have this number in my contacts. Who am I speaking with today? It's one of those pay at closing.
Oh, referral company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's.
You will get
I got
inundated with
another
some
one. I got
spam.
one like that. Yesterday. That was the first time that I got one like that.
Yeah, so yesterday, so.
Yeah,
Oh, and
so
they're
Probably
good too,
something we
because-
talked about in this
because-
class
yeah.
and then it got like booted somewhere and now.
Cause
everybody's
I get them for investors. So
Yeah.
it's like,
What about the people
"Hey,
that
will
I
you help me
told
find
you
your-"
that they
Yeah.
wanted?
I'm like, this is
Yeah.
feeling kind of
Yeah.
scammy.
I used
So-
my name.
So here, we are in an age of scam, and guys, they're getting good. They're getting really good. Some of them, I don't even know what the end game is. Like, I have no idea what this scam actually leads to. However, more often than not, it's to hack into your leads and your contacts so that they can then hit up your contacts, right? Okay, so that's one way. So a lot of you are going to get leads from your website through command. And you're gonna be like, how'd this person even find me? Like, I don't even have this. I don't even have my bio set up. I don't even have a profile on Billo or whatever, right? There are scams and you still service it, but how do you service it? With caution. You ask to talk to them on the phone. And if they say WhatsApp, 99.9% of the time, it is not, it's a scam. They're gonna say, I have $1 million cash. I need to come view this property, blah, 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 but I can only talk through WhatsApp, okay? If it says WhatsApp, I'm not interested. So the first thing I'm gonna do is reply to the email that it's gonna come through, and I'm gonna say, hi, I just got your inquiry on this property. What's the best number to reach you at? That's the first way I vet them. Because there are real people out there, friends, that are looking for agents, and they will land there, but don't think they're all a scam, but go in with caution. Proceed with caution, right? If it feels fishy, it feels too good to be true, it probably is, give me a call, right? Camilla, tell us about your little experience.
So that was what, December or November, around there, December. Out of nowhere, I just received a call one morning and say, hey, is this Camila Palma? And I was like, yeah. She's like, hi, I was trying to reach out to you because I wanted to know if you have any listings. And I was like, well, not yet. I just got to Keller Williams. I'm working on it and blah, blah, blah. And then they go like, yeah, because we would like to see if you have some listings because we like to buy fixer-uppers houses. And then I was like, well, I don't have any right now, but let me talk to my coach and see what like we can find. Maybe she can help me out with something. And then I talked to Shanna. I went back to talk to them and I tried to call them and the phone number, like it didn't exist. So after that, I got an email about one guy and he said, oh, because they mentioned that they are partners from one company, but they never told me what company they were. So then I got a hold of them and then Shanna told me, tell them to meet you at the office so they can sign the buyer's agreement. And then I told them to, hey, let's meet there. And they were like, oh, no, we don't want to sign anything. We want you to find like houses for us. We'll pay you a commission, but we're not signing anything. And then we're not meeting either. So
Yeah.
So
Scam.
fishy,
Scam.
right? Like if they're not willing, and whether that was a scam or just their business practice, they're not willing to meet with you to buy a property, that's a huge red flag. They don't want to sign with you. I need to know why they don't want to sign with you,
I
right?
think I even have them email.
Yeah, and so proceed with caution. If they're not willing to do those things, there's something wrong there.
Oh, and I also remember I asked them, I was like, if you don't mind me asking, where do you get my information? And then they were like, oh, we did our research and we find you on Zillow and on Realtor.com. Shanna mentioned that you have to pay to be in those platforms and I haven't paid, so I don't think I'm there. How
You
come
have
they?
to have a listing.
Yeah, and she doesn't have a listing, right?
Yeah,
Now, could
So I
they
don't
be
know
like
how
a
they find
wholesaler
out more.
type or a We Buy Ugly Houses or a different company that's like, hey, I am looking for off-market properties and I want your help? Yeah, sure. But the way they presented was just off. So slow down, chase the lead, go after the lead, but always be mindful. Is this a scam or is this real? Now, on the other side of that, I did have one of our agents who really works with repeat referrals for your business, does not like strangers. Okay, that's fine. She grew her business that way and she's free to do that. She got a sign call on one of her listings and this guy claimed to be this investor. And she's like, I think you're fake. She's pretty brazen. She goes, I think you're fake. I don't think you're real. Hung up on the guy. Calls me and is like, hey, this. And I was like, call him back. I was like, that is a real lead. That is a real person. She's like, well, I just feel blah, 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 blah. So she calls him back and they get to talking. He's 100% real. He has now given her like 10 different transactions, but he almost appreciated it he was like, hey, I appreciate that you wanted to vet me and check me out, right? Like you're cautious, you're conservative, you're actually what I'm looking for. Don't hang up on people, even though it worked out for this person. They're not all a scam. Maybe they're just overeducated and misinformed, which is a lot of our general public. Why I say they're overeducated is they have access to information that we've never even dreamed of.
Or English is not their first language, which
Yeah.
happened to me.
If English is not their
It's just
first language,
texting.
give them some grace. They're
Right.
trying to figure something out here. They're translating as they go, right? Or if, if it's Portuguese or Spanish, Camilla's your go-to gal, right?
Here's the email they sent me and I sent it to her and to me it sounded like too good to be truth. Cause they were like, hey Camila, this is Josiah. My assistant Sharon told me about you. I'm a looking investor here in Springfield and I'm always looking to buy off market fixer uppers. Please shoot anything that you got over here. I buy here in Springfield and the surrounding areas. I don't have a budget and especially look for value add opportunities on multifamily. I would love to create a win-win for the both of us. I will pay any commissions as well and make it super simple. I buy cash, assist, no inspections, no appraisals, and no closing costs for the seller. Let me know if you have any questions.
I got the same thing from them.
You did?
Yeah, like
I
2
was gonna
weeks
say,
ago.
I think Josiah was the name. I'm looking
Here's-
for it, but I.
Yeah,
think I
And
deleted
then
it.
it says co-owner of Show Me Realty.
now, Show Me Realty is actually a
Yeah,
real
Show Me
company,
Realty is real.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
when they
Show
called
Me
me,
More
I
Properties,
did.
they will reach out because they are a licensed real estate agent who are looking for off-market deals.
Yeah.
So they want to know what your pocket listings are, right?
On one of their wholesale lists.
Here's
So,
another thing, when you are like on the fence, put it in our Facebook group,
Mhm.
right? Like, then that way Jackson could be like, got that one too, and then hey, that's a scam. They're just mass sending out messages to agents, right? Scam or just something that you don't have time to be involved in, right? You don't have time to chase wholesalers. You don't have time to take away from your business to go follow up on this one that won't sign agency and won't do anything. Your license is not worth any commission, friends.
So what's your opinion of this? Do you think no one should take something like that? If it was real, or I don't know if it is or not, but.
Are you best suited to serve that? Do you have pocket listings that you could make money off of and give them?
No, but I'm saying like maybe someone that does.
Yeah, maybe if somebody does, but my guess is if they hit you and maybe you, they're probably hitting up all the agents. If I had a bunch of listings, right, like 5 or 6 listings in queue, where I am going to be the listing agent on that, I can match make that, sure, that makes sense. But if I am working with no clients and I'm working as a buyer's agent, how's that really gonna help me? Because you're gonna have to go find these off-market properties and maybe match make it, maybe not, I don't know.
Cause the way I took it was like, okay, if you don't want me to sign if you don't wanna sign a buyer's agreement, then who is gonna tell me for sure, like if we end up doing a deal,
That
you're gonna
get
pay
paid.
me? Exactly.
Yeah, that agreement,
What's the warrant, like the guarantee that you are gonna pay me because there's nothing signed?
exactly, there
What
isn't a
about if I
guarantee.
provided like properties to you and then you just,
You gotta be
Do
careful
your
too,
thing.
because since they're not, so I do a lot of groups and things like that with wholesalers and stuff like that. Like, I like to be on the receiving side, but I won't source them or anything like that because there's no regulations on their side. And it's a very, very, I mean, there's some really good ones out there, but there's also, there's bad ones, or there's also just a lot of inexperience. Wholesaling is so when people are like, hey, you can get into real estate investing with zero money down, it's wholesaling. So you got a lot of college kids, you got a lot of young people, you got a lot of people that are doing it on the side, and most of them are doing a signed contract. So they're just getting a contract with no intention of ever buying that property from the person, and they're just trying to resell it to someone else. And I've seen about 90% of wholesale deals fall through, especially because the person is so inexperienced that they're not pricing the property properly. And then they're leaving that person, with this expectation that, oh, you're buying the property, and then they just don't show up to closing.
Well, you have to have a really high risk tolerance if you're gonna get into wholesaling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't wanna get into a contract with somebody and then be like, oh, JK, even though my contract was written airtight that I can get out at any time, I'm not trying to go hustle that deal to make a couple $1,000s or $8,000 or $500 or whatever, to go try and sell it to Susan,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's not for me.
Yeah, because when they sign the contract, they have to provide it to you, and most of them, they're gonna ask you for an extremely high earnest money. But usually they've only provided $50 or zero earnest money. They've talked the person into it. So again, they technically breached the contract, but what are they out, $50? And they held a contract for 30 days and tried to sell it.
You'll
So,
interact with clientele that are stuck in some kind of wholesale situation or have come out of one. Your job is to do the right thing by them, right? Help them if they need to list their house and sell their house, get it listed, right?
Yeah.
So,
like I said, there are some really good ones out there that I will recommend to people. But they're all bigger companies. They're all legit. I mean, Andrew Newland from Ozark Home Buyers and Valen Group and stuff like that. Most of them are all very above board. So even Lincoln for HomeLink. So, but a lot of them that are, I don't know anything about them.
yeah.
So
All right, so in your book, on page 8.6,
one of my
it's,
values I share with people.
well, yeah, no, for
As a
sure.
real estate agent, hey, I'll help you navigate this without being shady. That's why we do contracts. That's why we do this. It's to protect you as much as it is to protect me and my agency.
Stay out of the shade, friends.
Yeah.
Get into the light. All right, on page 8.6, make a list of your things you're passionate about. Put the things down that you get jazzed about. Is it homeless hounds? Is it helping pets find homes? Is it church ministries? Is it community service? Is it the American Cancer Society? What are things you're passionate about? Is it feeding the hungry?
Oh, there is something that we do and I forgot to say. Like in my house, we donate like food to the church. Like my mom takes that
Mm-hmm.
to the church every Sunday.
Post about that. You should post about that. All right, so I just want you to take a couple minutes and I want you to write down some of the things that you're passionate about. Are you big in pickleball? Right? Been trying to break in for years.
A lot of Achilles tears.
Seen it. Don't mind me, just eat my lunch.
Is
All
it
right.
buying on Amazon? Does it count?
Shopping
Like-
on Amazon? Maybe. Let's talk about not spending money though. All right. What are some of the things you guys wrote down? Eric, you've been really quiet. I mean, just one thing you wrote down.
I just did, I really enjoy outdoor activities, hiking, golf, stuff like that. And with my church, we help the kids with the One Soul Purpose Run
Oh,
and stuff.
The
So,
shoes?
Yes.
nice.
So that's who puts it on is High Street Church.
Yep,
So-
okay, okay. Right?
So my family, my oldest is in marching band, my youngest is in speech and debate. My wife is involved with seniors, church, and the things, mostly, like, men's groups and things like that we meet in the morning. People becoming better
Mhm.
leaders, and then live music, concerts, bands, things like that.
Awesome. Okay. Ron?
Aside from the cycling and Disney that we talked about, helping people, making them smile, I have a kind of a resting jerk face.
I
So-
totally disagree with that.
So I think it's unexpected when I make people smile, so I enjoy that.
Awesome. Okay, I love that. Anybody else have something they want to share? What you got?
I said church, the cattle industry, hunting, and then working out in football.
All right, so we've got some interests in here, right? What's interesting about these interests is Camilla's interests are totally different than Ron's, totally different than Eric's, and totally different than Erica's, right? So are we really going after the same people? Maybe not, right? Why don't we brainstorm some posts that aren't just picture of you with your buck, right? That's a post that shows, hey, I went hunting and this is what I got. But let's take one. Somebody, I'll tell you what, Susan, out of all these things, you pick one person's interest and we're gonna work a post together as a group. All right, you get to pick one. If you need them, the people who said them to repeat them, you just ask them.
Okay, Erica, did you get one?
I have down my family conservation, because I'm an undercover nature nerd. Horses, health and wellness, and travel.
All right, pick one.
I think that the outdoor conservationist.
Okay. Sorry, you went too fast.
Sorry.
I haven't been eating enough because I'm working too hard, friends. All right, so we're gonna talk about the undercover conservation nerd in her, right? That's what you said? Your words, not mine. What would be a fun, engaging post that we could do more than just the Instagram famous, here I'm walking through the nature and all you see is the back of my head, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
What first came to my mind when you said that is these posts that you could repost that are different places in Missouri and Arkansas that are kind of like hidden gems, you know, waterfalls and things. There, every once in a while, the conservation department will put out, here's a trail of, you know, here's a path that you can follow and see all these different things. So you could see them in a day.
Perfect, absolutely perfect.
I like it. No, I was just thinking.
It makes
you
sense,
know,
right?
Also doing events, like a lot of people didn't know that they had the Bald Eagle Days in Lake Springfield. We went down to the one at Roaring River last weekend, saw a couple different bald eagles, so sharing like local events too, which I didn't do it, I should have done it, but something like that too, like all the local places and hidden gems and stuff. I think that's a good idea. It made me think of that.
See what
when
we're
you said
on to
that.
here? Anybody like to eat out?
That's a common.
Yes.
thing.
Is it? Okay, we'll have to
I have
go
that.
there.
You all like to eat out? That's what I heard. Do you ever get stale? Like, if I have to go to the same 13 restaurants that I go to, Casabella's one. Right, you get stale, you're like, I want something new, but I don't really want to travel anywhere far to go find it. And I certainly don't want to. If you're into eating out and finding cool places, what does it look like for you to share that on social media, right? So there's this Springfield page that I follow.
Please.
I don't know, it may be Springfield Eats.
Or one of those.
This girl likes to eat, let me tell you. So I get hangry if I don't eat, so I'm really trying to do better, so I don't go home and be angry. It's like a quick little, like a reel, like a 15-second reel of like, check out, it's a video, it's got light music and it's a voiceover. It's like, check out this new Shubu Hot Pot, whatever, right? And it's a little like video and it's promoting that business. But what if you were the agent that I always see these really cool spots in Springfield to go eat, or Nixa and Ozark or whatever, you're like, you love Italian, I went to Piccolo's last night, chef's kiss, it was awesome, whatever, you know, I wouldn't talk like that, but maybe you will, I don't know. And maybe there's a quick little video that goes with it. Are you not becoming that person, right? Now, maybe that's not your jam, but if that is your jam, I would go to your page to know where I should go. There's been a lot of Saturday nights, like 3 that I can think of, that I didn't know what to do with my spare time because I didn't have a baseball game, a soccer game, or a wrestling tournament to go to, and we didn't have family plans. And I was like, oh, I'm feeling froggy. Let's go do something fun. And I started scrolling through social media through people who go out and do fun things of like, where do adults go in Springfield? Right? It's not Trops anymore. We learned that one. Not that I've ever even been there, but I'm not from Springfield. But does that make sense? It's a lot easier when you start thinking about it, right? How about another one? Ron, pick somebody's hobby, interest. Or your own, totally fine.
I didn't write them down, so I don't remember everybody's. How about Ray? His men's groups.
Is what?
Men's groups.
His men's groups.
Yeah.
All right. What should Ray's post be? Besides, I'm a man and I go to man's groups.
I don't know, because I don't know anything about men's groups, so.
Right.
So there's two that I'm involved in. One is hosted by my church and then one's hosted by North Point Church. And you just meet and it's about men supporting each other and building each other up and basically challenging everyone to be better. So.
So do you read books or scripture?
We typically do scripture, we do God stories, we do prayer. But yeah, and I post on mine once in a while, so.
Right, so could he not take that scripture piece? And maybe even a picture of the church or the men's group, like you guys saw, like I didn't call anybody out who was there yesterday, I just saw the backs of your heads, right? Post something like that, showing where you were, what you were doing, and maybe it's a little excerpt from the scripture that really spoke to you. Hey, I was at my men's group at such and such church this week, and I saw this, and it really just, I felt the need to share that message, share the word of God or whatever, right? So that speaks to a whole pot of people that want to engage with somebody like that. It can seem a little self-promoting sometimes when we do things like that, but this is also how we're running our business. And if you choose to not engage in the social media aspect of it, your choice. But we do need to market and prospect through some source, right? And I'm going to push this one because 93% of people are online. So why wouldn't I tell you to go where they're going, right? Any final thoughts on this? All right, let's talk strategy. So we know that there's the 80-20 principle. And there's loads of different platforms for social media: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, LinkedIn. Okay, and you've got to know that each of these different platforms are going to bring in different kinds of people, right? I have LinkedIn, however, I'm never on it. All right, so we talk Facebook a lot just because I'm instructing and that's what I use. So I'm going to talk about what I know. What platforms do y'all use? Anybody use Snapchat? Tell me about Snapchat. Oh, you just shook your head. What Snapchat was.
I mean, I have it, but I'm not super
I think
involved with it.
it used to be more popular
Yeah.
a while ago than right now.
I think it's still very
So young
popular,
kids,
but it's just,
young youths out there.
Or maybe we just grew up.
I
'Cause I
think,
used to
yeah.
use it.
I tried
Yes,
to
that's a
engage
good
with
one.
it, but I.
I used it a lot when I was in college.
Mhm. I only got on it because my daughter wanted on it.
Yeah.
Literally. I have 100 unread messages from like a year ago. I just.
There are a
such
lot of people that
commitment.
only communicate through Snapchat.
There are.
Yep.
Yeah, that is
My-
true.
my
I had
sister-in-law-
employees that was their, they wouldn't text me, they would snap me. I'm like,
No, thanks.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law only communicates through Snapchat.
Yeah, my daughter, when she was coming up through middle school and high school, was actually, this is how cool she is. She made a PowerPoint on why she should get a Snapchat. I'm a visual person. She sold me. She even brought in FOMO. She goes, I know this sounds childish, Mom, but I have FOMO. What was I gonna say? I don't want you to be a social pariah. Of course I'll give you the Snapchats, right? In a responsible way. But there was a whole group of individuals that, oh, I'm not giving them my phone number. I'm giving them my Snap. And then that way I can block them. I'm like, you can block them on your phone number too, but whatever, you know, it drove me nuts that she did this, but that was how her generation at that time communicated with one another. Okay. So Snapchat. What about YouTube? Anybody using YouTube?
watch it.
I watch it.
Watch it. I heard this really, girls in the room, y'all watch YouTube for fun?
My husband
You just
does.
say no to go.
It just, it depends on what
For a
it is
reason.
I'm trying to learn.
Like if you want to learn something, you'll go to YouTube, right?
Or if you wanna, like, sometimes, this sounds maybe silly, but I like to watch like concerts that have been
Okay, you have
done.
a
in-
reason, something that you're looking for.
If I wanna see a concert that some artist made in, I don't know, New York City or something like that, I go through there.
I may use YouTube for like a guilty pleasure, like, true crime. I want to hear the conspiracy theory. I need you to take me through it in a visual manner.
Or documentals too.
The documentaries. There's a market for social media through that. But what I did learn just recently is it's more male dominated, more males, which is funny because y'all were like, yeah, I watch it, right? That's my man voice in case you were curious. More males will utilize that. It's a really great resource for educational pieces. When I don't know how to do something, I look it up. Now, I don't go to YouTube for the video because I actually want to read it because that's my learning style. I want to read it and follow the steps. I might want to look at photos, but I don't have time to sit and watch a video. However, my husband is like, if we're going to change out this alternator, which we did, I can now change out an alternator. It was very hard. It took all day. And it was on a piece of junk Chevy, but whatever. We watched a YouTube video on it, right? So if I know that YouTube is where we go for educational pieces, would it not behoove of me to do an educational piece on a buyer seminar or first-time home buyers or financing and post it on that YouTube channel and then take the little clips and upload those onto social media?
Also, like for
fun.
recipes and stuff like that, you can go to YouTube.
I don't have the patience for that either. I want the fast, where it's like showing me like, here's the ingredients, but it's like, like I have a very small attention span. All right. So social media strategies. All right. So we've talked about some of these things. Connect with people you know or who you've met and you're trying to form a relationship. That's what social media is. You're feeding and building a database. Social media is its own database. Post about your neighborhood. Why would that be important as a real estate professional, posting about your neighborhood? Or your community if you don't want to post about your neighborhood. Farming, you become the local expert in that area, right? Post about listings. What do we think about that?
Actually did that yesterday. It's not my listing, but we have a church, our team has a church listing. And I'm gonna go and walk through it this afternoon, but Evan asked me if I would post to connect, because we need to get this sold. It's a historic church on Seminole and Lone Pine, and so I thought, oh, this is a really nice place. So I went to ChatGPT to come up with a cute little blurb to put about on it and posted that. That was my post for business yesterday.
I love that.
But I think you don't have to post about your own
No.
listing.
Courtesy of Susan Langston, right? Like whoever has it. Listing provided by. That's all you need. Doesn't have to be your listing. Could be anybody's listing. I love a this or that. Like, here's 2 kitchens. Which one do you love, right? Take some stock images so you don't hurt anybody's feelings, right? When I was redoing the flooring in my own house, this was personal, right? People could follow my journey of construction management, I guess, so to speak. Don't ask me about it. It was an awful experience. I'd already picked out my flooring, but I had samples. So I was like, do a poll, A, B, or C. What do you guys think? Right? And it engaged people because people love to be asked their opinion on things, right? Like, I care. I do care. Right? Congratulating your new homeowners. What do you think about those closing posts?
A couple.
Here I am at the title company with my person, and if I'm at that one title company, I've got a big pin, right? Or the big key. Those are fun. And there's a useful need for that, right? Like you would tag your sellers or your buyers in it. You could tag your closer, right? And when you tag people, your reach then goes further, right? Some people don't like that. They're like, oh, all they do is post about closings, right? Well, let's think about this logistically. If I post about a closing every time I have a closing, does not my social media remind me as a memory when that pops up again? And that's a great call to action for me to call that seller or buyer and say, hey, happy home anniversary, right? So if that's your system for remembering when people close, by all means do it, right? And then you can compile at the end of your year, all 70 people that you helped into these little whatevers, and make a big post about that. That's an accolade. It's sharing your credibility, your ethos with others, which we're professionals. You need to do that. What else? How about this? Follow somebody that's operating social media at a high level, whether it's in our market center, a neighboring town, or somewhere totally different like Florida. Right? Go find an agent out there that's doing something and it looks good. And then you just kind of rip off and duplicate, right? You just post similar things, figure out what you're into and then make it about that. Is it important to block time for this? What happens when we don't block the time for this? Two things happen.
We don't do it.
We don't do it. Number one, we don't do it. If we don't put it on our calendar, it doesn't exist. 101 time blocking. You've got to make the time for content creation. And you've got to make the time for content implementation. Implementation. Thank you. God, I need to go back to school, right? You've got to make the time for that. And then what do you think number two is? If you don't block the time for it? It'll take away from other things because you have now done too much time in it, right? What did you call that? Death scrolling? What was that?
Doom, my kids call it doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling, right? What are you doing? Oh, I'm looking for content. Okay, because now you're not. Now you have gotten sucked into the world of social media. So set an alarm, right? Like if I'm looking for content, I literally block it on my calendar and I set an alarm. And if I go past that and I didn't get what I needed done, then I guess I don't have any content. And that's a shame because if I'm trying to really be consistent, I need to put some parameters in to keep me within the lines. So time blocking for that is successful. If you're gonna go double down into social media, you might need a little more time for it. But let's not overcomplicate it. You don't need 13 hours a week to work social media, all right? Trim the fat, keep it tight. Figure out what you need to do and do it. Utilize ChatGPT. It's a fantastic feature. I do so much out of there, it's like almost illegal, okay? So think about that, right? You can even come up with a social media schedule from ChatGPT in a tabular form that'll say week 1, do this, week 2, do this. And then you can even say, write me a script for that. And then you can just do it. Again, friends, don't shy away from video. It's not going to be perfect the first, second, or third time you do it. It gets better with time. Do not compare your insides to others' outsides. Maybe Ron is fantastic with video and he can edit it really quickly and he can put music behind it and speed up the room and do all these fun things, but all I can do is just me and my little microphone, right? Be me with my little microphone until I can be Ron with his cool apps and stuff, right? Utilize programs like CapCut and Canva or Command Designs to get going where you want to go. CapCut's great for video. There are people who prefer Instagram over CapCut because the Instagram platform has basically duplicated what CapCut can do.
I think Erica mentioned that, right?
Wasn't that you?
Yeah, CapCut. I used the basic and then I used the professional for like a month and I ended up unsubscribing from it just because I wasn't utilizing it at the time and it was like $10 a month. But it does work. There's a lot in it. So to go in and play, I was doing those minute-long posts, which was honestly perfect. It kept me from over talking in a video if I was trying to get like, because we were trying to do YouTube shorts too, and it has to be under a minute. And there are lots of different editing options and different things you can do. You can even retouch your face and whatnot. But it takes a few tries to get established with it. Instagram does a similar version. I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's essentially you can get the basic version if you're on Instagram and you want to post a video. It's essentially got the same editing tools, the basic editing tools. So Instagram actually does have that. If you want to get the Premiere, it's probably better for the Premiere with CapCut because Instagram's the same thing. But if you don't have Instagram, it's still good to have like the free version of it.
So you could geek out on this all day, right? But if you're like, I really don't care, then let's just get to posting, right? But if you're like, hey, I actually want to follow this rabbit hole and learn everything I can learn about it, set some parameters on time around it, right? And be the expert, know what everything there is to know about it, but then you actually have to use it, like actually use it, right? Post client testimonials. I wanted to hang out here for a second. If you have a good testimonial, you should share that. Oh my gosh, you should share that. That is literally somebody else's words about you and they're positive. You absolutely need to share that. Get the client testimonials. If you're having a great experience working with somebody, ask them for it. They'll give it to you, right? A review is amazing. I will look at the reviews. We've talked about this, right? I will look at the reviews on something before I'm gonna buy it. I like to vet things out. I look at reviews at restaurants that I've never been to before. So I know what I'm getting into because I don't like wasting money. I do like trying new things, but I don't like wasting money. So I'm probably gonna look at the reviews. Every now and then I just wander in somewhere and sometimes it turns out good and sometimes it doesn't. Don't post and ghost. What is that? What's posting and ghosting mean?
Not interacting with people who comment or whatever on your post.
100%, that's exactly what it means. Do we get in the habit of posting and ghosting? Yep, I've made my comment. I posted today. Here, I'm gonna go do all these other things I've gotta do. If I don't go back and like or engage with those, what was that worth? Didn't do me any good, right? So like I made a post today. What was my post today, if anybody saw? Kind of told you about it earlier. Yesterday's class.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday's class. So I'm going to see some comments when I go back to social media during my time block. And I'm gonna go comment on those things. And if there's something really good in there, I'm probably gonna like it or love it. And then I'm gonna go make a direct message. Hey, I'm so glad that you saw that. Hopefully it's somebody from another market center so I can have a totally awesome conversation,
I was gonna
right?
share it, but you have sharing turned off.
I don't have sharing turned off.
You have sharing turned off on that post.
Okay, well, I don't know how to do that.
Neither do I.
I'm not the right person for this class. No, I'm just kidding. I'll have to look at it. I don't, well, it's because I made it to everybody. Because sometimes I'll make posts that are just for the people I'm friends with. And when I'm trying to get extra engagement from people that I maybe am not friends with, I'll turn the notification to public. So that may have made my sharing notification off. I don't know, but I'll look at it.
I was like, hey, this could be my post for the day.
Totally could, totally could. I'll figure out how to share it. How about that? Add value, communities, right? Okay, so could you go join Springfield Eats community and be a member in that community? Is that the one, is what you said, right?
Yeah, it's like a Facebook group or whatever.
It's a group, right?
Yeah.
There's Facebook communities, right? We're gonna talk about Facebook because like I said, that's what I do. I could create the group that I want, right? Because when you're the owner of the group, you get to say who comes in and who doesn't. You join the Bolivar page of real estate and you're gonna have a bunch of other Bolivar real estate agents in there, right? Go make your own page. How about a page on first-time homebuyers? How about a page on first-time investors? How about a page on anything real estate related or community involvement related? And then you're the keeper of that page. Here's the thing, you gotta continue to keep it up, otherwise it'll fall to the wayside. You're gonna do all this work to get people to engage with you and get them to tune in here for this and save this and favorite this, and then you never put anything in there. That's a waste of time. Don't do that. Right, but there's a lot of power that goes in to being a part of these communities and adding value to others, right? I hope that this segment is bringing you guys some like life to it. Is it bringing it to life? Is it getting you excited about what you could be posting about? All right, cool. So you went and you made a list of things you're passionate about, right? Who's done their post today? Oh, good, none of you. You're gonna do it right now. All right. So here's some ideas. You can go to page 8 if you want. This one was to pull up something from your local MLS. We did have a team meeting today that had slides on the data. You could take a listing and post about your listing. You could take something personal from your passions list and post about that. But I'm gonna give you all about 5 minutes because you don't need any more time than that. And I want you to make a post on your social media. And Ray, I'm not gonna make it shareable just yet.
Darn.
When you all look up, I'll know you're done and we'll move on to the second part of the activity.
Oh, we're posting again. Is that what you said? No, we're
You'll
just-
post once and then there's another part to it. Jackson, you're done?
I posted this morning.
Posted. All right, so here's part two. After, excuse me. I was eating that last little bit fast. After you've made your post, go find each other and go engage on that post. So Jackson, if you're not friends, Eric, do you have social media yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I mean, I have X, yes, but.
Okay, raise the hands. Who's on Facebook? Who's doing Facebook post right now? All right, cool. Thank you. Your next thing is to go find these people. You may have to friend them. Since you're all on your phones right now, if you get a friend request from Jackson, accept it, please. And then he's gonna go find that post and he's gonna go engage with it. And he's not gonna like it and say, so cute. All right? Does that make sense? You're gonna make a post, then you're gonna find Camila, you're gonna find Susan, you're gonna find Ray, Ron, Eric, sorry, buddy.
That's all good.
Jackson and Erica, you're gonna find each other, you're gonna friend each other. And then you're gonna go like each other's stuff and go comment something and engage it. And then guess what you get to do, the person, the poster, you get to go back and engage in that post. So you're gonna give it about 10 minutes to get through all of that. You're gonna post, you're gonna go friend the people that are in this class, you're gonna go like and engage on their post. And then if somebody's liked and engaged on your post, you're gonna follow up right then and there.
I have a silly question.
Okay,
How do we find, like, never mind, I found it.
okay. Just search their name up top. Would it be helpful if I put people's names up here?
Probably.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, goodness. I'm gonna spell your names wrong. So if I ask you how to spell your name, will be me. Erika, right? ABREU. REU.
Doesn't have a CK.
I know, it's the best way though. It's okay.
Mine's ERIK, so.
Well, there you go. It's the best way.
All right. CAMILIA. No,
LA without the
I
I.
get Aaron a lot. I don't
Mila.
know. why. I think people just. don't listen.
PA.
Yeah, I think they just don't
LMA.
listen for the whole name. And that's it. And now I say Abreu, my last name is Abreu. Erica Abreu, my last name used to be.
Eric, you're
Kelly.
CK, yeah?
No, just,
We
just
just were
K.
having that
I know.
conversation.
Oh, I wasn't listening. If you can find Eric, you get bonus points if you can find him on social
Yeah.
media. As he's like creating his Facebook profile right now. Anybody having any problems? Who got stuck in a scroll? Ray?
I'm not stuck in scroll. I had a post planned for today, so I'm trying to do that, but I didn't have all the information.
Oh, okay, I ruined his plan.
Wow.
Okay, so what else are we supposed to do after we post? I'm sorry, I was.
That's okay. You post and then go find these people who are in this class with us, friend request them, find their post and then engage in that post. So like it and comment on it.
I might have to go back later and change it, but it's up there.
That's okay. Yeah, you can edit.
Camila Martini Palmer.
question for the group. Is it weird to say Missouri Ozarks? Who else says Missouri Ozarks? Does anyone else, or is it just Ozarks?
I think it's just the Ozarks.
It's just the Ozarks, or it's just Missouri. It's just.
You get to pick one, you don't do both.
I know that's how I feel, but then I was introduced to just calling it Missouri Ozarks, or like the, obviously Arkansas Ozarks is a mouthful if you're in Arkansas, but a majority of the Ozarks is in Arkansas. So,
The best ones are in Missouri.
I
though.
agree, but well, except, Fayetteville and NWA, but
Well,
so.
okay, we don't have to split hairs here.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just say the Ozarks.
Okay.
It's like, so my title is productivity coach. And it's, in the KW community, it's known as a PC, right? Makes sense. Nothing drives me crazier than somebody saying, oh, I'm a PC coach. I'm like, you're a productivity coach? What's that? That sounds really official.
So speaking of Arkansas,
Speaking of Arkansas.
my sister loved this place, and Camilla, you're probably gonna laugh because you speak Spanish. There is a restaurant there called Table Mesa. So you're just saying table. Table Mesa, yeah, she look at her face, like she's like, for real. My husband thinks it's so funny. Like, he just thinks it's hilarious. He's like, you're saying table, seriously? But it's similar. That reminded me of it.
I like it. All right, in the interest of time. Take a screenshot of these names. These are your fellow people. Find them on social media. You should already be friends with these people. See what you guys are posting. See what's out there. Go be friends with them. And then what I want you to do tonight, if you haven't finished, is go like and comment on everybody's posts from today. After you have liked and commented, I need you to go back to your own post and make sure that you're keeping up with that engagement as well. Fair? All right. What's next? What is next? Oh, look. What's going on? All right. More strategies. Be authentic. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Don't be that jack of all trades. Be the person. Find your avatar. Figure out who your perfect client is and market to that person. Do not shy away from video. Embrace video because video is where it's at right now. You can use analytics to optimize posts. I do not recommend boosting your posts on social media. So Facebook will offer you a boost your post for a fee. There's no way to really track that. There's some analytics, but if you really want to boost your post, do it through command, and that way it gets those leads into your pocket, right? So don't boost a post through social media. Go through command and do it that way if you're gonna do a paid ad, all right? You get a better return that way. And I actually know this from a marketing person who worked in KW for a big team who did all the analytics on that and learned that there wasn't a great ROI on the boost because you couldn't capture the information. The idea is to capture information. That's how you build a database and feed it, is capturing that information. Ask for help when you need it, right? Find somebody who's doing it at a high level and ask for help. Come to the classes that we teach on CapCut or Canva or designs. Okay, recap. You got your 10-5-1. That is a success formula to help you do this, right? We join gyms not because we don't know how much water to drink and how much working out we need to do, exercise classes, so to speak. We do it because we need somebody to tell us what to do, right? That's why CrossFit is so profitable. It's because there are a bunch of us out there, not me anymore, that want to just be told, I don't have the time to think about what I need to do. I just want you to tell me what to do, right? I'm telling you what to do right now. 10-5-1. It's a secret sauce. It will help you engage in more activity, all right? 80-20, 80% you, 20% business. Some people believe you go in thirds. 1/3 is business, 1/3 is personal, and 1/3 is something community involvement, right? Figure out what your best practice is and then nail it, okay? Did you guys get good information today? Was this of value for you?
Yes.
Okay, good. I told you in the beginning of this, there was nothing I was going to be groundbreaking in here because you all had the answers already.
I'm slightly more comfortable with posting on social media now.
Good. Sometimes you just gotta rip that Band-Aid off and do it, right?
I just posted my dog though, so it's not a
Hey,
baby steps.
baby steps. On the snow day, I posted my dog. He is a judgy coworker, by the way. He just sits there and judges me in that chair. So figure out who you are and what you like. So part of your homework is I want you to start working on that avatar, right? So when you're looking at your enrichments down here, don't forget, how many conversations a day, Jackson? Mila, how many comments a day on social media?
How many comments?
Comments are you making on social media a day for homework?
10.
Okay, Susan, how many direct messages?
5.
5. Ron, how many posts?
1.
1, right? And create your avatar. Get on ChatGPT. Figure out what the backstory is on that avatar. And I want you to start building your marketing plan around that person. And then don't forget on Friday, you need to get me all your homework assignments because I'm keeping track. All right, we got 2 friends in here that are about to take listings. That's huge, huge, right? So awesome. Does anybody have cards for me?
Yes.
You give me your cards, you come follow me upstairs and I will give you new cards.
I am way behind on this.
Progress, not perfection.
I said, you're behind. All my focus has been on social media.
That's okay, because we're learning, right?
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
I setting the alarm, it really was a black hole for me last night. I was
think-
just going,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it happens to me too.
There's a new feature, I don't know if it's new or not, but I found it when because I changed my profile to public, which was scary in its own, but you can actually set up the screen time, and I actually have it set up so I can't go on Facebook after a
Parental
certain.
controlled himself.
I did. It actually, it comes up with a screen and you have to like override it, almost like I had screen time set up for my kids. So yeah,
That's wild. And it works though. If you know, that's part of building a bunker. If you know what obstacles are gonna get in your way from holding you from success, you gotta bunker them out, right? Like you've gotta make sure you've got fall safes in place so that you don't fall into those traps.
Yeah.
Right? If you're like, oh, I'm just working my social media, babe. No, you're not.
well, it's like I'd start working on it and that'd be the intention, but then I would see somebody that in the industry or something like that, and then I'd be going on their and then I'm like, wait, I'm not working on it. Now I'm looking at their marketing, but not for
Absolutely.
research.
Yeah, just for funsies.
Yeah.
Every time you get caught in something, is that a dollar producing activity? Yes or no?
No.
Right? When you get caught in that kind of stuff, it's probably not. And I need y'all to act like this is a job, right? If you don't act like this is a job, you have to go get a job. This is a very expensive hobby. Okay? So, and if you're in this class, to me, you're saying this is your career of choice, yeah? I can safely assume this is our career of choice if we're sitting in this room. Cool. All right, treat it like a job, show up for work on time. When you have a transaction, did you earn it or not, right? Like, did you do what it took to get the deal done? And did you feel like you earned that commission that you were paid? When you get up at it and you do an open house, remember, you got to figure out what your dollar per hour is. Let's go say you go do an open house. Did you show up like you were getting paid to do that open house? Or did you show up like it was just a task, a meaningless task to do, right? That mindset around that is so important. Okay. All right, that's what I got for you. For those of you who need new cards, follow me upstairs. If you're online, we will see you tomorrow.